Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone had a terrific or is having a terrific Saturday. A massive weekend with championship games tomorrow. And of course, if you celebrate SummerSlam today, going on right now. So it's a big weekend for a lot of people. And of course, the NBA, NHL, college basketball, all that's going on. We tripped up a little bit on the free plays today, but all access customers, once again, are on their way to hopefully another incredible day. Couple college basketball winners in already, NBA winner in already as well. So we're looking at the Nuggets game right now. Hopefully that will come through as well. So welcome to Against the Public. I'm Dana Lane. We're the only show to analyze early betting patterns by the public, and we've done that again with 3 free winners for Sunday, each one going against the public. And today, we're going to mix sports a little bit. I wanted to get this video out as quickly as possible, but today we're going to mix sports. We're going to have 2 college basketball plays, and we're going to give you the total and the Detroit-San Francisco game, which I usually don't do. I usually put all NFL picks up on the website. But I'm not 100% on board enough with it to put it on the website, but I like it enough to give it out as a free play. So we're going to do that today. Before we get to our free plays, I have right now that NFL 3-pack that is absolutely flying off the shelves, and I am so thankful and appreciate every one of you that has put their money behind me. I love these 3 games tomorrow, so thank you so much, or 3 plays tomorrow, so thank you so much, and we're going to try to come through for you tomorrow. This offer also comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee. That means you'll receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price if you don't profit. In addition, I have my conference championship in addition to the Super Bowl selection already up. I don't have Super Bowl selection, but it's a package that you get the AFC and the NFC winners, and then you get the Super Bowl play as well for one low price. Get it all for $99.99. So get involved with that. That's been very popular too. And again, I appreciate everybody that's done kind of put their money behind that package. And of course, the all access package, the one that I'm trying to push the most because I absolutely believe in it. It is the best way to get the best of everything. Just to become a member, it's a 30-day. You get a 30-day pass for $13.13 a day. I get a 90-day pass for less than $10 a day, and an all-access annual pass for less than $100 a month. So in case you need a little bit more convincing, this is what all access customers have done of late. Overall, all access customers are on a 7-4 run to start the weekend. That's changed a little bit. We had another winner come in on that. These numbers, I don't go back and just update it. I just put it on there as it is. But 7-4 run to start the weekend, which adds to my 30-day total of 1,323 units won on the back of 55% winners. In the NFL this season, I know we say it all the time, but there's new people joining all the time as well. 56.1% winners this season, 60.2% winners over the last 90 days, which is good for number 1 in that span, number 1 amongst the handicappers in that span. And of course, 61% winners over the last 30 days. In the NBA, last 30 days, 57% winners, 57.1% winners over the last 7 days, and 62% winners in the NHL over that span. Hopefully that's all that needs to be said. We're a day away from what I think is probably the most exciting football day of the year outside of the Super Bowl, I guess. It's going to be crazy here in Vegas for the Super Bowl. All kinds of events. I'll be part of a couple of them, but fortunately not cool enough to, well, I could get a ticket if I wanted to, but yeah, I'm not paying unless it's got a Raider logo or a star on the side of the helmet. Yeah, they're not getting my money for the Super Bowl. So anyway, we're going to try to enjoy all the festivities here in town as much as possible, and that, of course, starts next week. When I have time as well, before we get to our free plays, when I have time, which I've had a little bit of time today, I like to throw in some random statistics and hopefully give you guys a few nuggets that's going to be helpful to your own handicapping. And today I'm going to focus on the NHL, and I wanted to examine a puck line trend. And before we get to that, I want to go through the teams that are the best teams on the puck line this year. So let's go ahead and do that. And if you want to, pause it or whatever, get some paper, feel free to do that. But I think puck line betting is something that I kind of shy away from because, a lot of times these games end up in one-goal games. I mean, that's the average score in the NHL is 4-3, and it's been that way for years. So there's a reason why they put 1.5 on each one of these games. So yes, if you minus 1.5 gives you a nice payback a lot of times, and plus 1.5, I mean, you're laying a ton of money in some cases as well. So I kind of stay away from that. And honestly, when it comes to the NHL, I still do play money lines. I still like to play the money lines, and I always play anything less than $2. I really should kind of go back to minus $1.50 because that's what that's always been my level for a long time. But I don't know, for some reason I lengthened that a little bit, and it's been okay. It's helped me, and sometimes it's really hurt me in others. So what I've tried to focus on is just the NHL is such a money management thing. It's so much like baseball, where it's not about the wins and losses as much as it is about managing your money properly. And so my best advice, and I'm kind of going to bring this into the baseball season as well, it is so much easier when we're trying to build bankroll to bet on games that are minus $1.20, minus 15. So I think what's going to happen after this year is I'm just going to go into betting totals. And the other things are kind of fun because you could get that big strike with the plus money, which happens quite a bit. But for me, it's more about consistency, and I don't want to change in the middle of the season. But I think once I start baseball season, although last year was okay, the year before was really good. But I think I'm going to focus more on the totals because then I can get more of that minus $1.10, $1.15. So a loss doesn't hurt me too much. Although I'm never in a position to have a $1.50 favorite win either. So anyway, with that out of the way, let me go through the three teams that have been the best teams to wager on against the puck line so far this season. Number 3, the Boston Bruins are 27-22 plus 11.10 units of profit. That's based upon a 1-unit wager. Whether you want to say plus 11.10 units or 110 units or 111 units, however you want to say it. But 11.10 unit based upon a 1-unit wager. Number 2, the Vancouver Canucks, 32-16 against the puck line this year, plus 13.41 units of profit. And number 1, not a surprise, but maybe going back the other way of late, the Winnipeg Jets, 29-17 against the puck line, plus 14.10 units of profit. Now, the flip side of that, the three worst teams against the puck line this year. Number 30, Chicago Blackhawks, 21-28 against the puck line, minus 10.65 units. At number 31, New Jersey, 15-31, 16.05 units lost. And number 32, or the worst team against the puck line this year, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 14-32, 16.51 units of profit. And again, Toronto feels like a decent regular season, although that's still in jeopardy, and then just don't have what it takes to find success in the postseason. And I think we're still looking at another Maple Leafs team that's early out in the postseason. So we'll see. But for this exercise, I wondered how a team fared when, and stay with me on this. Some days I like to geek out a little bit, but how does a team fare when facing a goaltender that averaged a low amount of shots per game, or one that was used to facing a high volume of shots per game? And would that number affect betting one team over another on the puck line? And we're just talking puck line. We're not talking money line. Of course, that's minus 1.5 or plus 1.5. Of course, we do it that way because I want to not focus on a specific team or a specific goaltender. I just want to focus on the number. And a lot of times in handicapping, the number will tell you. Sometimes I've heard guys say, I don't even need to know who's playing. I just want to know the number. And a lot of guys, especially because they're just managing their bankroll, they'll tell you, oh yeah, if the team's over $1.50, I'm going to take the dog, or whatever they have as far as their tendency. So we're going to focus on, rather than focus on a specific goaltender, we're going to focus on the number on this. And this year, after a netminder's first game. Now, keep in mind, in this exercise, you got to kind of throw out their first game because you got to establish the average. And in the last game, too, we'll talk about that as well. Or not the last game, just the first game of the season, you're going to have a 0 shot against average, so that doesn't count. But at this point in the season, it counts a little bit when you get, like, say, you get a call-up from the American Hockey League. You got to wait their second game to actually have an average. You guys probably know what I'm saying more than I do. So I broke this up into increments of 5, starting with 17, an average of 17 shots on goal, which the range goes from an average of 17 shots on goal to 41 shots on goal. And of course, that's a range. Nobody's averaging facing 41 shots a night in the NHL unless you're playing for San Jose this year. Teams facing goaltenders that are averaging 17 to 22 shots a night. And that means the opposition's goaltender is facing 17 to 22 shots a night. Now, we know that this number is not going to be very high because nobody's facing 17 to 22 shots a night that's getting regular action. So this has got to be, again, a guy that just started, or a guy that's come in now, or at the beginning of the year, or now they're just coming in as a call-up. And that's usually what we're getting here, which is why we only have 21 examples of this. Now, the teams facing goaltenders that have that low shots faced number is 12-9 this year. They're plus 0.70 units on the puck line. And of course, that's going to be difficult to find now unless, again, a guy gets called up. I know I've said that 3 times, but I kind of want to pound that home. You're not going to find that. But here's what you are going to find. Now we're kind of into the meat of this. Opposing goaltenders that are facing 23 to 28 shots per night. And we're getting that 28 range, at 26, 27, 28. Then you'll find a little bit more. In fact, this is the range where you find the most games that you can apply. But the record against the spread or against the puck line is just 425 and 415. It's only 51% winners. And in fact, if you bet that, you would have been down more than 40 units this year. Not great. 29 to 34. Now, another five shot increments. 29 shots to 34. 183 and 207. So when you're facing a goaltender that is facing more of a high shot volume, not a shot volume that's out of control, just 29 to 34, which is high in the NHL right now. The team facing that goaltender does not fare very well, only 47% winners, minus 42 units, 0.33 units lost in that scenario. Now, this is where you have a little success. The problem is finding it. And again, at this point in the year, we're looking for guys that just get called up in their second game getting called up, because the first game, again, is to establish the average. Goaltenders that are facing an average of 35 to 41 shots a night. The opposition is 9-1 plus 8 units this season. So we're talking about bad defensive teams that are calling up guys who were peppered in their first start that have high averages, high shot faced averages. So that's kind of what we're looking at, and that's the numbers. And I hope you followed me with all this. But what does this all tell us? Well, it tells us to go against goaltenders who average 29 to 34 shots faced per night. Go with teams who have goaltenders who have faced an average of 35 to 41 a night. And we could dig a little bit deeper into that. That means wagers, like a team against the Sharks who give up 36 shots a night. The Islanders give up 35 shots a night. And of course, you got to break that down by goaltender. You can't do it by team. But those are the teams you're kind of looking at going against. And that absolutely makes sense, does it not? As we go on in the season, and as those teams, especially San Jose, has never been in the playoff picture this year, going against them on the against the puck line has been obviously very profitable. So, but the other thing you got to watch out for is if both teams have the same number. Well, you got to you got to throw that out, because then you can't use those numbers in that scenario. But that's kind of something we threw out there. I don't know if it helped anybody, but it is interesting. I mean, and really, what we're looking at here is a goaltender that faces like 23 to 28 shots a night is the team to bet on, against a goaltender, and also 35 to 41. But really, on a nightly basis, we're looking at a goaltender that faces 23 to 28 shots a night. That's the bet on goaltender. The bet against goaltender is the one that faces 29 to 34 shots a night. Now, you're not going to get 23 to 28, but you might get in that 27, 28 range if you do the research on that and see which goaltenders fit. So, all right. You can tell I had way too much time on my hands today. So let's get to your free plays for Sunday. I know I'm going to get emails saying, what are we talking about here? What are we doing? Okay. I'm just talking about football or something. So anyway. Okay, let's get to your free plays for Sunday. And this is a little bit off too, because I wanted to get this game in because, A, we've seen some movement on it. I can throw it in there early because it's had a lot of betting. Technically, it is a tomorrow game if you're on the East Coast. And, of course, we're talking about the Hawaii Rainbow Warrior game. 12 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Pacific. So 12 a.m. technically tomorrow. 831 to 832 is your rotation number. The Cal Poly Mustangs versus Hawaii. Hawaii's minus 15.5. 126 is your total. Technically, again, this is a tomorrow game. This is, if you're on the West Coast, this is your get-out game. It will be up long before this game starts, so don't worry. Almost every wager that we have seen so far on this game has come in on Hawaii. That has moved this number from minus 14 to 15.5. This is a case, to me, this is just nothing more than a case of big money. One or two big wagers came in on Hawaii. They moved this. The ticket count is in favor of the Mustangs. So that means, again, two or three big wagers came in. That's where you see the high percentage of the money. But really, there's even action on the tickets. Even a little bit in favor of Cal Poly. That's just changed on here. So still in favor of Cal Poly. So kind of a pros versus Joes so far. We're not going to sugarcoat, of course, how bad the Mustangs are this season, but Fullerton has had issues. But against Fullerton, the Titans had troubles lengthening their lead against Cal Poly. This is a team that Fullerton, even a 500 team like Fullerton, should have absolutely have handled. They had trouble for 40 minutes. And the Mustangs played well. I thought they played well against Bakersfield. At least that's what I've been told. They played well against Bakersfield, a team that probably should have won that game by double digits. So, we're not getting a great team in Cal Poly as far as a win-loss is concerned. But this number to me is so much bigger than what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to be in that 13.5 range, and boy, 15.5 is a lot. I think, to me, and I've seen Hawaii play a lot this year. They're 10-10 on the season. They're 5-13 ATS. I think they are lucky to be 10-10 this year. They're 3-10 ATS involving spreads of less than 10. So this, even though we're looking at a 500 team here technically, I just don't think this is a 500 ball club. And of course, we're going to lean on Kobe Sanders tonight. He had a couple of 30-point games this year, fairly recently, and we're going to need him to keep us under that number. But If Sanders goes off, I'm not saying he needs to score 30, but if he's in that mid-20 range, we're going to cover this spread. We're going to take Cal Poly plus the 15.5. Game number 2. 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, 10 o'clock Pacific, 8:45, 8:46. Robert Morris, the Colonials against Cleveland State and the Vikings. Vikings -8 and 153 is your total. Colonials have been pretty good against the number this season, but lately they've been so inconsistent ATS. They have rotated wins and losses against the number for 6 straight games. They did cover in a big way against IUPUI, 80-63. They were a 5.5 point favorite in that game. And I'm from the Viking side, I'm sure that they are really stewing after dropping an 8-point decision to Wright State in overtime. They owned a double-digit lead in that second half. Absolutely blew it, absolutely fell apart in that second half, and I expect them to really want to wipe that taste out of their mouth. The Vikings have owned this series. They have 9 wins in their last 10 meetings. They're 5-3 ATS in this series with 2 pushes. Colonials have not beaten Cleveland State since 2012, and Cleveland State is 10-3 at home in this series. And of course, they've won 18 straight games at home overall. We're also getting, as I mentioned, the Vikings that trailed by as much as 15 in that second half. To talk about getting absolutely fallen apart. They cannot be happy with their effort. I think they come back in a big way in this game. They win this game by double digits. I'm going to take Cleveland State minus the 8. And then finally, 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Pacific, NFL NFC Championship game, 321, 322, Detroit, San Francisco. San Francisco -7 and 52. This total hasn't moved much here in town. You can find some, half points, 52.5, but usually it's around 52. Certainly has moved some offshore as some of the smaller books that opened up at 50.5. Almost all of them are at 52 right now. But of the 220,000 wagers that I've been able to monitor, 69% of the money is on the over. 67% of the tickets is also on the over. So a lot of the books everywhere need this game to go under. And really, if I'm the offensive coordinator, if I'm Ben Johnson, I know the strength of the Niners. The defense against the run is absolutely their strength. And if I'm an offensive coordinator, the first thing I do is go right at a team's strength, because if you can start breaking that down, then you can start breaking their will down. We know that Goff can move the ball through the air. We know that San Francisco secondary is okay, but we certainly know that Goff can move that ball through the air. But I think both teams really are going to try to control the ground, and I think that's going to eat up enough time for us where 52 is going to be just a little bit of a high number. And from the Niners side, I think we're going to see Brock Purdy. We saw last week against Green Bay just kind of throw the ball into double coverage and really try to get those big 20-plus yard plays that almost cost him the game. I expect Purdy to check down to his receivers a lot more this week. And again, that's going to be better for us as far as us betting the total. But hey, look, everybody knows that San Francisco is much better when Purdy does not throw an interception. San Francisco's 2-4 when he does throw an interception. So I think this is going to be a very conservative game to start. I don't think either offense is going to open it up. I do think there will be a point in a game where one team is forced to open it up, but at that point, I think the under 52 is going to be well in hand. So that's going to be your third free selection for Sunday. So please go to pickdawgz.com. Get involved with my NFL 3-pack that is up there right now. $59.99 gives you my NFL 3-pack for one low price. And of course, that comes with a Pickdawgz win guarantee that states you must profit or receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price. And you can get on board with that. You can join my all access pass. You can get my individual game passes. Whatever you do, please make sure that you join me tomorrow. So let me just give you our free plays one more time. Cal Poly plus 15.5 tomorrow. Tonight, that's a midnight game, guys, on the East Coast. Cleveland State -8 and San Francisco Detroit under 52. So that does it for today's show. Thank you to everybody that helps continue to get this show off the ground, and also the people that watch it to continue to help this show to grow. That's it for Against the Public. I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers on Sunday.